Hello there, and welcome back to the Agostino Zinga Show with your host, Agostino Zinga, and this is episode number 959. That is Nuevo Cinco Nuevo, if I'm not mistaken, in Espanol. I'm trying to get my Spanish up to Dua Lipa level, GCSE level out here. Big up Dua Lipa, what a queen. But big up everybody tuning in. Appreciate you wherever you may be from far and wide. Thank you for joining me on this wonderful The Agostino Zinga Show, the number one, the premier cultural commentary podcast in the world. Thank you so much for joining me. It's always a pleasure. It's never a chore. We start off today's show on some very somber news, on a somber note. I'm sure most of you are already aware, based on my title, based on the thumbnail, based on news throughout the day, that the legendary, one of the kings of R&B, a pioneer in his field, somebody that influenced the sound of R&B, changed the direction of it forever and ever, really basically made you question what it meant to be a heartthrob, a sex symbol, in terms of his struggle to kind of keep up with that sort of image. Had an interesting use of lyricism, I think, in his music, the layers that he used to put in his voice, the tempo, the sultry nature of it, the messaging, everything about him, right? D'Angelo, an absolute flipping legend. R.I.P. to D'Angelo, who unfortunately passed away earlier on today. Based on what I've been able to hear online, it's because of pancreatic cancer, if I'm not mistaken. Pancreatic, if I'm mistaking it wrong. If I'm saying it wrong, I apologize. But it was due to pancreatic cancer. Really horrible news for everybody that is a fan of music, specifically R&B. I'm sure most of you who've grown up or have heard at least one of his seminal fucking tracks from one of his. He had a run of like 3 albums, just like back-to-back banger. What was it, like Brown Sugar, Voodoo? What was the other one he had as well? Brown Sugar, Voodoo, Messiah. That's the one, Messiah. Back to back, absolute bangers, not including his live albums, not including singles and features and everything else in between. A bit of a maverick, a bit of a recluse, like somebody again who kind of was about mystique and aura before those terms were even known. A true artist, a true R&B artist, and unfortunately he has passed away. So R.I.P. to the great and the powerful D'Angelo. This is an article courtesy of The Guardian talking about his passing. Let me just quickly read it to give you a little bit of background information on who D'Angelo is, in case you're not familiar with him, which you should be. And if you're not, one of the saddest things about people like this who pass away, if you're not familiar with their discography, once you get into their discography, you'll start thinking to yourself, I wish I was a fan sooner. I wish I was a fan when they were alive. I wish I could have seen them. I wish I could have given them their flowers. You know what I mean? That's the only sad thing. It's one of the bitter pills. It's one of the tragic things. But it's also kind of beautiful in its own way. That's kind of why I think art in general is so important to the world in general, because it allows people to reflect and remember these type of things. Some people hold on to the music. The music means so much to them. Music they use in a wedding, funeral, engagement, whatever, birth. It's like a soundtrack to a particular moment in their life. But more importantly, if you're the artist, what you get to leave behind is work that lives far beyond you, far past your time of passing. Your work will be kind of replayed and live on and get a new life in itself. It's fucking amazing. So it's kind of bittersweet in that he passed away, but now there's going to be more interest than ever in his music and his discography, and he has legitimately one of the best, if not the best, discographies in R&B. And people are going to be enamored. They're going to be floored when they kind of get to grips with what he kind of put out during his time. So R.I.P. D'Angelo. Courtesy of The Guardian. D'Angelo, Grammy-winning neo-soul pioneer, dies age 51. So yeah, I guess they're describing more neo-soul. I just say as an umbrella term R&B. I know maybe that's a subcategory and shit, but I'd say as an overall umbrella term, I think he was definitely one of the kings of R&B, for me anyway, specifically. It continues. It says D'Angelo, the Grammy-winning R&B singer who helped pioneer the sound of neo-soul, has died at age 51. The singer-born Michael Eugene Archer died on Tuesday morning at his home in New York after privately suffering from pancreatic cancer, his family confirmed to Variety. So this must explain then, if you've been paying attention, you would have known that D'Angelo over the years has cancelled quite a few gigs. He's known to be a little bit, you know, in fact, he was known to be a little bit ephemeral and a bit of a maverick in that respect. Kind of, you know, when you see him is when you see him. But recently, he was pulled out of certain events. And I think they specifically said it was a health scare. I remember reading about it. So I guess the health scare, you know, for lack of a better term, was probably the cancer he was suffering from. He's probably privately dealing with that, whilst also trying to, you know, manage his career and shit and whatever else it may be. So really, really tragic that this happened. I respect people's wishes. You know, you always have to respect people's wishes. If people don't want to have people all up in their business and they want to deal with such a terminal disease like that by themselves or with their close family and friends, you have to respect it. But it is a shame that he didn't get to have that outpouring of love. He didn't get to see what people really thought of him while she was battling through it. You know, people could have, you know, lend their support, but, you know, kind of shared what he meant to them as an artist. But I'm sure he knew. I'm sure he was made aware. But you know, the only bittersweet thing is as if he could have kind of known that while he was alive. But R.I.P. him. The quote says, "The shining star of our family has dimmed his light for us in this life. After a prolonged and courageous battle with cancer, we are heartbroken to announce that Michael D'Angelo Archer, known to his fans around the world as D'Angelo, has been called home." By the way, that's a beautiful phrase. That's a beautiful phrase. Has been called home, departing this life today, October 14th, 2025. His family said in a statement. It continues. "We are saddened that he can only leave dear memories with his family, but we are eternally grateful for the legacy of extraordinary moving music he leaves behind." Again, and they're just very poignant words, very true. Definitely moving. That's what you can definitely describe D'Angelo. Very, very moving. Nothing microwave. Nothing quick and go. Everything very, very intentional. "We ask that you respect our privacy during this difficult time, but invite you all to join us in mourning his passing whilst also celebrating the gift of song that he has left for the world." D'Angelo burst onto the scene in 1935 with his debut album Brown Sugar, which married classical R&B melodies with the sound of hip hop and notched his first top 10 signal with Lady. Legendary track, by the way, Lady. Legendary track. His follow-up album, the classic 2000 Voodoo, solidified his status as one of the fathers of stripped-down music, hearty sounds of neo soul. He was influential as he was elusive, not releasing a follow-up to Voodoo until 2014, with his third and final album being Black Messiah. Big up him, man. D'Angelo won 4 Grammys over the course of his career, including Best R&B Album for Voodoo in 2021 and for Black Messiah in 2016. He also won for Best R&B Song in 2016 for Really Love and Best R&B Vocal Performance for Untitled How Does It Feel, whose music video, in which the singer appears seemingly unclothed against a stark black background, turned D'Angelo into an industrial sex symbol in the early 2000s. Yeah, that video is legendary, you know, legendary. The amount of parodies and spoofs and inspiration, just in general. Born and raised in Richmond, Virginia, D'Angelo gravitated toward music at an early age. He began playing piano at the age of 3, playing in the church alongside his father, who was a Pentecostal minister. He continued to perform locally in a variety of groups, including Three of a Kind, Michael Archer, and Precise, and the Intelligent, and Deadly But Unique IDU. You know what's really fun? Intelligently But Unique. You know what's really funny? There is a real lack. You're noticing it, especially I, because I'm a big R&B head. I love listening to R&B. I'm one of those weirdos that will listen to Mariah the Scientist's new album while I'm lifting weights in the gym. You know, I'm kind of one of those type of guys. It doesn't always have to. You know how people work out and they listen to metal or listen to hardcore or death metal or I don't know, rock and roll or whatever to kind of get them pumped. If anything, I like the opposite. The opposite is kind of cool. It's quite nice to kind of whack on some classical, some jazz, some trance music, if anything, or some shoegaze. You know, it's kind of fun to do that. But one thing I've noticed within some of these newer R&B acts is the lack of church training. There aren't that many new R&B acts that said, "Oh yeah, I used to be in a choir." That used to be a prerequisite of any R&B singer, that you came from the church, you came from the choir, you had that training of performing like that on a stage, harmonizing with different people. You know, you have a different level of I wouldn't say reverence, but there's different level of like emotion and quasi power, you know, that comes through your voice because of the songs that you used to sing in church, praising the Lord and shit. Nowadays, it's not really the case. And obviously, number one, it's mostly separate singers from singers, because in church they don't usually let you get up on stage if you can't sing. So if you can sang, you get up in church, and then obviously you can make that transition to R&B. But you don't really hear that too tough, you know. I can't even think of many newer R&B acts that were also church choir singers. But obviously D'Angelo was one of them. He signed with the record label EMI in 1933 at the age of 19. The following year, he scored his breakout hit when he was co-wrote and co-produced the 1994 song "You Will Know" for R&B supergroup Black Men United, featuring Usher, Brian McKnight, R. Kelly, Boyz II Men, Raphael Saadiq, and Gerald Levant. Following the slow burn success of Brown Sugar, D'Angelo struggled with his writer's block and pressures of fame, often taking long breaks from the spotlight. D'Angelo is survived by 3 children, and the mother of his eldest son, soul singer. This is the most tragic thing, by the way. The mother of his eldest son, soul singer Angie Stone, died earlier this year in a car crash at the age of 53. That's the most tragic part about it, because I remember that happening, like, again, maybe a few months ago. And I remember, if I'm not mistaken, I think they crashed into somebody that was drunk driving or something tragic. I think she was on the way to a gig or something as well, if I'm not mistaken. RIP to Angie Stone. Shortly after the news of her death, former collaborators and artists and influenced by his music paid tribute. Say Ain't So, but we just lost a friend and a creator and a legend. D'Angelo, wrote Bootsy Collins. Writing on X, singer Doja Cat praised D'Angelo as a true voice of soul and inspiration to many beautiful artists of our generation. Singer-songwriter Jill Scott, who paid tribute to the king of neo soul, said, "I've never met D'Angelo, but I love him, I respect him." In a lengthy post on Instagram, titled "Creator Recalled buying a copy of Voodoo." Flea, the bassist for Red Hot Chili Peppers, called D'Angelo one of his all-time favorites. No one did anything funkier over the last 30 years, he said. I never knew him, but humbled myself before his music. What a rare and beautiful voice and an inimitable approach to songwriting. What a musician. He changed the course of popular music. Fly free with the angels, D'Angelo. We'll listen to you forever and always be moved. I drop to my knees and pray. Jesus, what a beautiful tribute. Rest peacefully, D'Angelo, wrote Missy Elliott on X. No parent wants to see their children go, but this is painful for children to see their parents go. To send prayers up for his son, who also lost his mum this year, for strength. Exactly. Round on Instagram, musician producer Nile Rodgers remembered when his music executive Gary Harris, who signed D'Angelo, first played his music. He was trying to figure out what to do with the music he bought with him. I listened to every cut, not just out of respect, but because it was smoking. At the end of the encounter, he asked me, what should I do with it? I remember this as if it was yesterday. I said, put it out. It's perfect. Being the artist he is, I guess he had to explore some ways to make it better. About a year later, I heard one of those songs on the radio. It was genius. It was exactly what he played for me. I know. I still have the original cassette. Fucking incredible. R.I.P. to D'Angelo. R.I.P. to D'Angelo. And that's the tribute that his family wrote that we read earlier. So RIP to D'Angelo. This is also news coming from D'Angelo's eldest son, which is Michael. This kid here on the far right. All right, like, I can't imagine what he's going through right now. Losing both of your parents. Losing both of your parents within such a short time. I think his mum passed away, what was it, March or something like that? Angie Stone, right? Another great R&B artist. And then now his dad passed away just a few months later. Like, Jesus Christos, man. Oh my God. It says, I'm grateful for the thoughts and prayers. That's Michael the son on this very difficult times, as it's been a very rough and sad year for me. I ask that you please continue to keep me in your thoughts, as it will not be easy. But one thing that both my parents were taught me was to be strong, and I intend to do just that. Michael Archer II. Fucking hell, man. Yeah. Thoughts and prayers go out to Michael, man. That he hold it together. Hopefully he's got a great support system around him. Honestly, man. Fucking hell. Tragic. And then this was really, really sad too. The other day, just got here on another R&B legend. randomly uploaded this on the timeline. They went kind of viral. She's on the plane, smiling, clearly high as fuck. You can see based on her eyes, she probably had a nice fat joint, enjoying life, reflecting, you know, on moments, reflecting on life as we always do. And then she wrote this really funny caption. She said, "I felt so high. I love you, D'Angleo." This is before he passed away, before it was announced he passed away anyway. Maybe she got some news, I'm not too sure, but I just think she just felt in a good mood. So she thought, hey, I feel so high. I love you, D'Angleo. I love you, Erica. I love you, The Roots. I love you, Betty Midler. I love you, Moonchild. I love you, Stevie. I love you, Andre 3000, sorry. I love you, B. I love you, Miss Jelly from Philly. Blessing to everybody seeing this, John. I love my time. Right? So she really sweet message here that Jules Scott Heron wrote. And then unfortunately, not shortly after, she had to follow up that message and say, "I told you a long time ago, you ain't gonna understand everything, and everything ain't meant for you. Nor I to understand. I never met D'Angleo, but I love him. Respect him, admire his gift. This loss hurts. Love to my family. That's our family to him. I'm so sorry. R.I.P. Genius." It's kind of crazy, isn't it, that Jules Scott Heron never met D'Angleo. I know there was a little bit of friction, I think, back in the day, if I'm not mistaken. I think she said something about, I don't know, I'm not really too sure, but it's kind of crazy, isn't it? They never ever met. Never met in the course of their careers. They never crossed paths. It just goes to show you how, you know, elusive D'Angleo was throughout his career. Despite putting out some great works, he really did struggle and wrestle with the whole fame thing and stuff as well over the years. Another one she posted, Jules Scott Heron said, "Let me stop you now. A mutual friend shared that our beloved D'Angleo was unwell a few days ago. I sent love yesterday. I didn't know he was leaving us today. Oh, my condolences to his family, his musical fam and his friends. I'm a fan and I mourn. Diane Keaton, who passed away as well, R.I.P. to her, and now D'Angleo. Hurts." Yeah, we're losing all the great ones, though. We're losing all the greats. We're losing all the great ones. R.I.P. D'Angleo. R.I.P. Diane Keaton. And then there was also this really nice post from Tyler, the Creator, who paid tribute to D'Angleo also on his Instagram. He said in the caption, "On my 9th birthday, March 6, 2000, I landed at Sam Goody at the South Bay Galleria. I had $20 in birthday money and my eyes set on leaving with one thing, Voodoo by D'Angleo. Sita's World had Left and Right on loop. Brown Sugar became a staple at home. Nothing Even Matters by Miss Hill was on repeat, so I had no doubt that Voodoo would deliver. I had no idea what would help shape my musical DNA. The amount of raps I've wrote to Booty on the front porch that year, the amount of times I tried to mimic vocal phrasing from Send It On, the scratches the disc ended up with from repeating the root, too many. One mogging still puts me in the same trance as it did when I first heard it. That dragging sway of tempo that sounds like a porch sitting rocking chair, that grumpy but loose bass line, the subject of it, that feeling he's describing felt like a mirror. I took that and wrote Ring Ring Ring, hence one Mo Gin line. I couldn't understand how someone could write something so simple but personal but broad but genius. That's how special he was, a savant, a true alien. I'm so lucky to have gotten my copy of Voodoo when I did. We are so lucky to have been alive to enjoy his art. My music DNA was helped shaped by this man. Forever grateful. Safe travels." Yeah, that is a touching tribute from Tyler, the Creator. Definitely on point with what he said there. I got my first introduction, weirdly enough, from D'Angleo vis-a-vis pirate radio stations back in the day. Big up pirate radio stations. I listened to this pirate radio station. What was it? Was it Deja Vu? There was a station called back in the day called Deja Vu, and there was this crew called Entertainment Crew. They used to play on there through the mornings and the evenings, on the weekends. And they used to do like an R&B, like couple of hours, if not 3, straight R&B. Oh, bangers, bro. Like, I used to listen to that shit. I loved it, bro. I loved it. That was when I was on my sweet boy arc, for sure. Borderline haircut, slits in the eyebrows, magnet earrings. I couldn't do the contact. I tried to do the contact lenses back in the day when everyone was wearing contact lenses, but you know, I'm too pussy and I can't put my fingers in my eyes. But Jesus, man, like, I used to love that. And I think I discovered D'Angleo the same sort of time I kind of found out about Donnell Jones, you know, people like that. Brandy, Like, oh yeah. Like the first time you listen, just yeah. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I really do envy people. I really do envy people who have to discover him now off the back of him passing. Had no idea who D'Angelo was, and you're getting a chance to discover him now. Like, I envy you, because hearing D'Angelo's voice for the first time, wow. Absolutely incredible, man. Absolutely incredible. And there's a couple of stories here from people. One in particular here from Raphael Saadiq, talking about the time that he met D'Angelo, and they worked together on the legendary song Lady, which I thought this is a really good, great story. Big up Raphael Saadiq. This is an old clip, but everyone's kind of bringing these clips back up again because, you know, he's passed and they want to remember him in a great way. So big up Raphael Saadiq. Big up Blood Cut Raphael Saadiq.
The first time we met, D was supposed to come to my house and he didn't show up the first day. And then he came the next day. But I think he thought, you know, he was going to come to a house and it was going to look like the rich and famous, probably with a spiral stairs and helpers, everybody in the house. And
yeah, it's like, I'm going to Tony's house. It's gonna be...
but when he thought it's going to be a lot of people, he don't really like a lot of people, you know.
Yeah.
And then he found out I don't either. So when he got to my little 2-bedroom, you know, $235,000 crib, what, you know, it was in the garage. It was me, him, and my engineer.
Amazing.
In Sacramento.
In Sac? Oh,
amazing.
Yeah. And I lived in this neighborhood full of like lobbyists and politicians, right? And
beautiful.
We were just, and he was just so surprised. He didn't tell me later on. I thought his house was gonna be crowded with a lot of people, and it wasn't. And so I started playing Lady. That's the first thing we worked on was Lady.
Wow. You had that already?
Yeah.
Wow.
I had the idea because it was supposed to be for Tony's record. The idea, but
for like House of Music maybe or something.
Yeah, they didn't like it. They didn't like the initial idea. They never heard it what it was going to be.
Okay.
You know, neither did I. But I played the guitar riff for D'Angelo, and he said I like it. I said cool. So I was going to call somebody over to play my guitar parts over. He said no. You should leave what you did. And that's the first time my guitar playing ever got on the record.
Wow.
Ever got on the record, yeah. So, but I think how we came up with it, we figured it out. We were playing, and we were playing behind the beat, but I think we were just really trying to lock something in. And so he would fall back and he would start laughing, then I would fall back and we started kind of smiling and laughing, and it we just kept going back and forth, but not talking about it, and it became sort of the style of his record. But that's the way he sings, that's the way he plays.
Wow. And
it was just natural for him, but he's a Dilla fan.
Yeah.
And so then, you know, I'm a Dilla fan too, so I figured it out later. We were just mocking Dilla.
Really? That early? Early on?
I think Dilla was the first one.
Okay.
Or we heard it through hip hop.
Yeah, right.
Maybe
right.
it's just not
Far
Dilla.
Side records,
maybe we heard it on some Wu-Tang records. Maybe we heard it on some Tribe records.
Yeah.
I love hip hop.
Yeah.
Right. So I think both our love for the Hawk is in gospel and hip hop and rock and songwriting. It was just the perfect storm at the right time.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful story there. And of course, RIP the one, the legendary J Dilla himself. Fucking amazing story. Big up Raphael Saadiq. Another account here, courtesy of Alchemist as well. This is a really funny story actually about how Alchemist first met D'Angelo. Really, really did enjoy this too, by the way. Big up Alchemist. RIP D'Angelo once again.
I used to sell weed to D'Angelo.
Really?
Yeah. Premier hooked me up with him. That's when I first moved to New York. And there's a funny story because when I went to meet him the first time, Premier was like, can you, bring some weed? D'Angelo gave me the address. It was like around the fashion district in Manhattan, like 28th or 30th from Broadway.
Right.
And he was like, when you go there, don't have anything in your hand.
Fuck you. Anything in your hand?
I said, I didn't know what he meant. So I walked in and it was like literally like out of a movie. He was in this big loft by himself in the middle of the loft, sitting in a chair with a guitar, like writing songs.
Wow.
And I walked in and shit. I walked in.
Wow.
I go up to him. He's like, what's up? Give him a pound. I'm like, yeah, Premier. He said, oh, that's what's up. So gave me another pound. everything I said. That's
Got a pound.
you had to give him a dap. I don't know if you know people like that. Every
absolutely.
line is a dap.
Right.
And then I understood what Premier said when he was like, "Don't have anything in your head."
Brilliant fucking story about D'Angelo, man. Fucking no. R.I.P. D'Angelo. R.I.P. Blood clot D'Angelo. Like I said, like it's a heartbreaking news. Really is heartbreaking. Sad to see him pass so early. I think in life he had definitely much more life to live. Only 50 something, I think. But really tragic. But again, one of the beautiful things about art is that despite his passing, his spirit, his soul will live on, because people will be replaying his songs, they'll be getting inspired by it, and he'll just keep going on, and there'll be tributes, I'm guessing, about it. I'm hoping there's no posthumous albums, by the way. I'm hoping there's no fucking posthumous albums unless they've been approved by him. No posthumous albums unless they were approved by him before his passing. I hope to God, please, no posthumous albums. But yeah, love and light goes out to D'Angelo and his family. R.I.P. to the legend. And thoughts and prayers go out to his son, his eldest son he leaves behind, and obviously his other sons as well, his other kids. I'm not sure if they're all boys. Really hard news to kind of find on the timeline. But R.I.P. D'Angelo. R.I.P. D'Angelo. Changing tact a little bit. Changing tact. This is a really interesting and funny clip that was posted by Kuroku, or Koroku, however you pronounce the fucking name. Big up Koroku, by the way. For some reason, I was blocked by this account. I don't know why. This music posting account. I don't know what I said, but I'm glad I'm unblocked now because they post quite a lot of good shit. So they posted this. Tyler, the Creator, confronts a man who was following him in New York City. And the quote says, "I'll pay for your lawsuit. I'm loaded. I'm with all of that. Put it on the internet." So let's play this video of this guy harassing basically Tyler, the Creator, as he's walking around the streets of New York. It looks like to me he's on a date, but I could be wrong.
Don't touch me, nigga. Don't touch me. I'm walking, nigga. I'm walking.
I ain't gonna touch you, homie. Then go away.
Niggas ain't gonna jump on him. Relax. It's just a video, damn.
Don't touch me.
Yeah, if you touch me, I won't touch you. It's just a video.
I'm from LA, homie.
I'm from New York. Yeah,
Yeah, you good? You got that? Wait, don't do that. You got that? You got that?
it's not that serious. It's just Tyler, nigga. That nigga ain't worth nothing.
Get your bitch ass out of here.
Oh, suck my dick, boy. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me, boy.
None of that, bro.
Bro, eat a fucking.
I tell him to go.
What you gonna do?
I pay for your lawsuits, bro. I'm loaded, bro. I'm with all that. And put it on
word?
the internet too. I appreciate you, bro. Calm that down. Be respectful.
What you gonna do? Jump? I ain't gonna jump on you.
Fine, bro.
I ain't jumping on you. Relax, nigga ain't jumping on you.
Because if I say go, he will go.
You a goofy ass nigga. Tyler, you went to your concert, bro.
Hey. All good, bro. You all good in my book.
Yeah, all right. You just acting scary. You acting scary for no reason, boy. Ain't even like that.
It's all love, Tyler. Love you, man.
Hey, love y'all, bro.
Be cool, brother.
God damn. What the fuck's up with that guy, first of all? That guy seemed like a real donut, innit? That guy sounded like a real fucking donut. It looked like he was from, I don't know what was happening, but it felt like that guy may have been following Tyler for a long, because Tyler's really clear. Some would say strict. Tyler can be quite strict when it comes to, strict and kind of particular when it comes to how his fans interact with him. But he has been like this since the moment he became famous. Let's not lie. Tyler's been very clear and direct about how he wants people to talk to him and treat him when he's out in public, especially his fans. He's very direct about not having fans run up on him with their phones out already. Like, you know, say hi, ask permission, don't bother me when I'm eating. Just general, I think like courtesy, manners type of thing. Nothing too crazy. But I think over the years, as much as I'm a big Tyler fan, over the years, I think even his biggest fans can agree, he's become a little bit insufferable. A little bit insufferable. I'm not too sure it's because we're so used to hearing him say the same things. I'm not too sure it's because, you know, some of us fans especially can be a little bit entitled. I don't know what it is, but I have the feeling, even when it comes to his interviews and the way he speaks about certain things, and he has this like I'm better than everyone type of feeling about him, like his shit doesn't stink, he has all the answers, he's so enlightened. It's just it feels a little bit. It feels a little bit exhausting, It's a little bit exhausting. It's a little bit much. But on the other side of things, I also can understand being an artist of his level, a celebrity of his level, how utterly exhausting it can be to have these interactions. Because we're only seeing this one because this guy this guy recorded it and uploaded it onto the internet. There's probably many of these interactions that he has, little annoying things that he has to kind of deal with throughout the day, fires he has to put out, interactions, conflicts, resolution. I mean, he has to bring down the temperature all the fucking time. It's a lot. And an artist of his level, he knows if he crashes, that's a lawsuit. Now, he can pay for it for sure, but it's just a bother of having to go through it. That's going to be that's going to be a time sink. It's going to be exhaustive again. So I can understand why he's going on like this, but I do think that he's doing a little bit too much in this particular interaction. I think his security is doing too much. I think he's doing a little bit too much. Like, ain't that deep. But it also could be because of the situation at hand, because it does look like he's walking down the street with some like white kid, some white guy. I don't know if that's his friend. I don't know if that's his boyfriend or someone that he's seeing. I don't know. But he does seem to be a little bit more uptight than what he probably would be normally. Maybe because he didn't want anyone to see him. I doubt it really, because it's New York, right? Everyone's going to see you in New York. But then again, New York is a little bit like London. New York is oddly like London. Like, you could actually hide in plain sight. Like, do you remember that time a few years ago when Rihanna was living in London for a long time? Allegedly, according to people that I know, they said they saw her around Notting Hill all the time, just walking around the streets. And I think if you're a celebrity and you like, if you're a celebrity and you act mad normal, like he's got a security guard that's plain clothes, walking behind him at all times, but nothing too crazy, it's all right. I mean, you can get away with it. You can get away with it. No one's really going to notice you. He looks very distinctive, don't get me wrong. You can tell that's Tyler from a mile away. His style, the hat, the fucking posture, everything about him, you can tell who it is. But, so I'm wondering, maybe it's not the boy, because people on the internet, that's a meme at the moment. Everyone's like, oh my God, he was out with his little toy boy. He was out with his little twink. And he was maybe embarrassed that he was out with this white kid, because I think there's a narrative online that Tyler doesn't date black people, or black men, let's say particularly. I mean, I think he's dated some black girls, but there's a narrative online that Tyler doesn't date black guys. And some of the black gays on social don't like it. Like, it's like, what the fuck? Like, it's like you are colorist, I guess it's colorism. I don't know what it is. Whatever it is, I've heard that kind of conversation happen out there. But I just think it's an annoying interaction. I don't think we can read too much into it. It's a bit weird to kind of try and dissect the whole thing. I just think it's an annoying fan interaction with a guy that was clearly trying to get under his skin, or maybe felt maybe he felt offended because Tyler said no to something before, and he thought he could then do the whole, like, how people are. It's like, those type of guys who will try and talk to a girl, and if the girl says no, they're like, oh, fuck you then, you're ugly anyway, you stuck up so and so, you know what I mean? That kind of guy. I think he has the same type of energy. So maybe he tried to ask Tyler for something. Tyler denied him, said, hey, I'm not taking pictures right now, I'm out with a friend, just chilling, but thanks for listening to my music or whatever. He didn't like that response, and then this is what we got. I don't like the threats at the end. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like the threats at the end. I don't really like the threats at the end. You could just ignored him and got in the car. I don't like the threats at the end. I think that's a little bit too much. And there's people out there that are like, what they call them ambulance chasers. I'm pretty sure there are lawsuit chasers out there that will see him threatening somebody like that and will take him up on that offer and will purposely try and get under his skin or get on his nerves so that they can get a lawsuit. It's not, and it's also, you don't want to put that image out. Like, Tyler's from LA. Tyler's an old weirdo, quote unquote, black kid like I am. And usually those type of black kids, in my experience anyway, you can fight because you've grown up in a time when you grew up in the hood where you were skateboarding, same as I was. You were wearing fucking weird pants and studded belts. Whatever else it may be, you were listening to fucking punk music, hardcore, whatever. So all those type of kids usually that grow up in hoods usually have an ability to defend themselves because you were basically teased and sometimes quote unquote bullied by the people around your area. So I don't doubt that Tyler's got squabbles. But you don't need to put that image, You're Tyler the Creator. No one No one wants you to be a bad boy or to be a gangster or whatever. It's not necessary. So those threats are not necessary. I think he should let his security deal with it. His security was doing a good job of dealing with it. You know, talking to the guy with all sorts of madness, going crazy. You know what I mean? So he should let the security deal with it, because security was not going to let that guy get anywhere close to Tyler. You know, security was doing his job. He was on job. He was doing the whole flashlight thing. He was getting into his face. He was talking shit to him. So I think Tyler should just let security do the job and went straight into his fucking SUV. He shouldn't have ever said nothing else. But again, we didn't know that. Usually with these kind of clips, they're a bit deceiving because you don't really see the whole thing. You see what just a person cut, you know, or where they started to record from to make themselves look a little bit different. So I don't like it personally. I don't like it. The whole, you know, aggressive nature of it, the threats or whatever else it may be. But I think Tyler's in the right here. I think Tyler is in the right here. So big up Tyler, the creator. Always, always, always. Let's also talk a little bit about Drake's lawsuit being dismissed. I forgot to mention this a few days ago because it happened a while ago. Yeah, so big up Drake. It says it goes to the BBC. Drake's lawsuit over Kendrick Lamar's diss track has been dismissed. It has been dismissed. Let's read the article. It says a judge has dismissed Drake's defamation lawsuit against Universal Music Group over Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us. Judge Jeanette Vargas ruled that Lamar's lyrics, which accused Drake and his associates of being certified pedophiles, were not actionable opinion and could not be considered defamatory. Drake filed a lawsuit in January accusing Universal Music Group, UMG, the record label behind both rappers, of defamation by allowing the song to be published and promoted, saying it spread false and malicious narrative. Drake's spokesperson said there will be an appeal against a ruling. UMG said it was pleased with the outcome and was looking forward to continuing its work with the Canadian star. Motherfuckers. War of Words, Not Like Us, which released in May 2024. But yeah, it's already been more than a year. God damn, was widely seen as a decisive blow in an ongoing rap battle between the rival rappers, but it became the biggest hit of Lamar's record, having won 5 Grammys and being one of the most talked about moments in the Super Bowl halftime show in February. In a 32-page order, Judge Vargas called a row between the rappers the most infamous rap battle in the genre's history. The artist's seven-track rap battle was a war of words that was the subject of substantial media scrutiny, online discourse, the judge said. By the way, how many of those records are people actually listening to day to day? I'd love to know, like day to day, how many of those 7 records are people listening to? I'm not going to lie. I haven't listened to a single one of those records since they dropped. I haven't gone back to a single one. I'm not listening to fucking GNX again. I haven't listened to any of the Drake ones again. I haven't listened to any of those records since the beef. None. Zero. I wonder how many other people are the same, or am I like an anomaly in that respect? It continues. It says, although the accusation that the plaintiff is a paedophile is certainly a serious one, the broader context of a heated rap battle with the incendiary language and offensive accusations held at both participants would not incline the reasonable listener to believe that Not Like Us imparts verifiable facts about the plaintiff. She also noted that in an early song, Drake had challenged Lamar to make a pedophile accusations that featured in Not Like Us. Very true. On the track Tailor Made Freestyle, Drake used an AI-generated voice of Tupac Shakur to give Lamar advice on how to win the rap battle. By the way, that really backfired. Talk about him liking young girls. That's the gift for me. It's in this context in which lyrics like, say Drake, I hear you like I'm young, must be assessed, says Judge Vargas. The similarity in the wording suggests strongly that this line is a direct callback to Drake's lyrics in the prior song. An affront to artists. Drake, whose real name is Aubrey Graham, did not name Lamar in the lawsuit. His lawyers accused UMG of launching a campaign to create a viral hit out of the song that made false factual allegations that Drake is a criminal pedophile to suggest that the public should resort to a vigilante justice in response. By the way, I think the angle of like them cooking the stats and stuff and the streaming numbers to make Not Like Us a bigger hit than what it was true. That maybe should have been the angle, you know, maybe in the lawsuit, because most people can attest to the fact that they were pushing Not Like Us crazy. It was on every playlist. It seemed to be the next song in every person sort of like, you know, when you used streaming platforms and you just play one single and it just kind of auto plays the next song for whatever reason, no matter what genre you listen to. Not Like Us will be the next song in your fucking shuffle and whatever else it may be. So there's definitely an artificial push. It was always going to be a big hit because the song bangs and it's a fucking great diss record, but there was a little bit of paprika, a little bit of salt, a little bit of spice put on top of it, you know, a little bit. But again, is that enough for a lawsuit? Is that enough to take someone to court? I don't personally think so. But hey, what do I know? She pointed out that Drake himself engaged in similar languaging, quoting a lyric in which the star heavily implied that Lamar is a domestic abuser, and another where Drake raps that he heard that one of Lamar's sons may not be biologically his. Regarding Lamar's song, Judge Vargas said even the apparent statements of fact may assume that the character of the statements of opinion. When in public debate, heated labor dispute, or other circumstances in which an audience may anticipate the use of epithets, fiery rhetoric, or hyperbole, however you pronounce it. Responding to the dismissal, UMG spokesperson said from the outset, this lawsuit was an affront to all artists and their creative expression and never should have seen the light of day. We're pleased at the court's dismissal and look forward to continuing our work successfully promoting Drake's music and investing his career. That's a par, by the way. They're dissing him and then they're saying, yeah, we're happy to work with you. You're locked into the contract. You can't go anywhere. A spokesperson for Drake said the musician intended to appeal the ruling and we look forward to a court of appeals reviewing it. Lamar has not yet to comment. So, what do I think? What does Agostino think? Most of you guys know I'm a big Drake fan. I'm more of a Drake fan than a Kendrick Lamar fan, although I do like both artists. Drake is definitely my favorite. Drake is definitely my GOAT. But even I have to say, from the moment the battle happened, from the moment the battle finished, from the moment Kendrick was the victor, I was never a fan of the lawsuit. I thought it was a bad move. More so, you know how UMG said at the end of that statement, at the end of that article, UMG said this lawsuit was an affront to creativity. I thought the lawsuit was an affront to hip hop itself. Was an affront to the genesis, to the pillars of hip hop. It went against everything that hip hop stands for to file a lawsuit. It stunk. It stunk so bad. And I know that from Drake's point of view, there was a little bit of like twisting of the words. Oh, I'm not suing Kendrick. I'm suing the label because but the lawsuit was basically suing Kendrick. No matter what the particularities were with the wording, they should have known how it would look. Sorry. They should have known how it would appear. OVO camp should have known how it would appear to the public, how it would make Drake look. Forget how it appeared to the public. OVO should have been more attuned to how it would make Drake look in the loss of that battle to then go and sue somebody or sue the record label for pushing this record that says that you're a pedophile. And also, you know, I adhere to the philosophy of like, the lady does protest too much. If you're not a pedophile, just keep moving, keep living life. You don't need to sue someone for defamation, you know? Your actions speak louder than your words anyway. So I did think it put unnecessary attention on the pedophile thing. I think when Kendrick said it, everyone started to get up the video, that famous horrible video of Drake, I think performing in Canada somewhere, and he pulls some young girl up on stage. She says how old he is. He's like blushing, oh my God, I can't do it. All that stuff happened because of the attention that he kind of brought to the lawsuit. He brought to all these accusations with that lawsuit. People wanted to make sure that everyone knew, no, there's some merit to this. Like, he might be a lawsuit. Look at Millie Bobby Brown. Look at that girl who brought on stage. You know? So I didn't really like that kind of angle. And I think Drake kind of did that to himself. He kind of dug himself a hole. But I also understand that battle was a really important one that he lost. Right? Because in the heat of him doing the battle, we didn't know at the time, but in the heat of him trying to battle Kendrick, one of the greatest rappers of all time, right? He was also going through this protracted renegotiation with UMG. And he knows, and the music industry, people that watch music, people that are in tune know that there has been a shift, there has been a calling on Drake across the board. In the music industry, the public, it's obviously still one of the biggest rappers out there, but it's not the same as it once was. And it seems like the music industry, the powers that be, are trying to move away from relying on Drake. They're trying to position somebody else. So I could understand the stress, the what was on the line when he was battling Kendrick, right? All the money he might lose out on, the fact that it felt like the record industry was trying to push him to the side and push somebody else forward. I don't know who that was, but regardless, I get all that. High stakes. Maybe some could say the battle was embarrassing. I don't think so. I know some people could say, oh, it was really embarrassing. He lost really hard. But I really enjoyed the fact that he went at Kendrick. No one, I think even myself didn't expect him to win. But I love that how he went at Kendrick. Kendrick obviously went at him. But it pushed Drake to get back to his pen. Because I think before that, people were not too happy about the single just dropping. They were a bit too cookie cutter, a bit microwavy, a bit whatever. But the battle kind of, I thought, brought the best out of Drake. And also the best out of Kendrick too, right? Because I personally think those records that he did during the fucking 7-track back-to-back disses, whatever, were fucking phenomenal. Every record, like messaging, the iconography, the layers, the double entendres, the fucking triple entendre, it was all over the place. So I think iron sharpens iron in that regard. And I think we got to see, obviously Kendrick is number 1, but Drake's number 2, and the rest are just like whatever they are, you know? The rest don't even come close when it comes to rapping ability. So I think that was really great to see, really fun. The only thing I didn't like about the battle was when the stands got involved. When the stands got involved, when the fan pages got involved, they made the battle not fun. When it became like a... Because there is a segment of there's a segment of the Kendrick fan base that are a little bit elitist, you know? They're a little bit snobby. They look down on a rapper like Drake because he's not a lyricist like Kendrick. Maybe his music isn't as... Maybe his music isn't as substantial or it doesn't have as much meaning as Kendrick does. Then on the flip side, there's Drake fans out there that look down on Kendrick for being a lyrical rapper. They look down on Kendrick for taking so many long breaks. They look down on Kendrick for not having as many hit records as Drake. So I think both camps had a very toxic element about it. And they made the rap battle not fun. You know, when it was like even if you're not with us, you're dead, you're this, like, I hated that side of things. I hated the stands. I hated the fan pages side of things. I think they ruined the beef. I think they made it horrendous. I hated all the little side bits that happened off the back of it. If somebody spoke on a podcast about Drake I hated all of it. I think I hated all of it completely. The rap battle itself was pretty decent, but I hated the aftermath of it. And it was only made worse. It was only made worse when Drake filed a lawsuit. When Drake filed the lawsuit, it was only made worse. All the Kendrick fans that think Drake is a fake, that think Drake is a charlatan, that think Drake is taking up space and he's not real and he's white and when that lawsuit got filed, they had a field day. And all the Drake fans that think Drake can do no wrong, when the lawsuit was filed, they were looking for reasons why it made sense to file the lawsuit, why Drake was right and he can't be wrong, and all these conspiracy theories. I hate all of that. I hated all of it. So in a way, I'm kind of happy this lawsuit's been dismissed so that everyone can move on. Obviously, that's not the case, because as you read in the bottom of the article, Drake's team are planning to appeal. But I hope what they said about the appealing is just like frustration in the moment. Like, no, we're going to appeal. But then later on, when cooler heads prevail, they're going to be like, you know what, let's just leave it alone. I hope that's the case. I hope they don't appeal it. I hope they just leave it alone and move on. And whatever happens with UMG happens with UMG going forward. If Drake means he has to go independent, whatever, I don't fucking care. But I just hope they don't just drag this out again, because I'm tired. I am tired of this beef, bro. I'm so bored. I'm so over it. I don't fucking care. You know, it turned into like, oh, let's change your mind. If you like Drake, because Kendrick won, now you have to be a Kendrick fan. No, you don't. And vice versa. Like, they both bring different things to the table. You can like both. You can like one or the other without this and it's just like annoying. So I hope they don't appeal this so it doesn't drag on again and they can both go their separate ways. I don't even mind if they sneak this each other. Sneak this each other on your new records. Sneak this each other on your new records, whatever it may be, but I don't want to hear more. I'm done. Unless they're battling again head to head, which may happen in the future, who knows? But I don't want to hear anything else about this battle from a lawsuit or whatever else it may be. I'm over it. I'm so fucking over it. I really am. But knowing the level of these guys, knowing how crazy their fan bases are, knowing what's at stake, knowing what's on the line, maybe, possibly not, because we already heard from more from New Warrior and More podcast said the other day, or just said today actually, and he's quite close to Drake. He basically was saying that how Drake and his team have information that no one else has. They're privy to stuff that no one else has, and that's what they're going to file their appeal on. Which doesn't make no sense to me, really, because surely if you're trying to win a lawsuit, you would provide all the information that you have in order for you to win that lawsuit. Why would you keep it? You know, it seems odd to go through, oh no, let's get it dismissed first, then file an appeal, and then submit all the hard-hitting evidence that we have. It seems like an odd thing, but I could be wrong. I really could be wrong, but I'm really curious to see how it plays out. But I, for one, hope this is the end, and we can draw a line on underneath it, punto at the end of the fucking sentence, and just continue on with our lives, because I am done with this fucking battle. I'm done with this beef. I don't want to hear about it ever again. Please, for the love of God, please, please, for the love of God, I don't want to hear about it ever, ever, ever again. Talking about things I don't want to hear about. Oh my God. Big up HSTikkyTokky. You know, I've been talking about HSTikkyTokky for a while. I'm fascinated with the kid. I think he's really interesting live streamer. If you don't know who he is, he's a mixed race kid that lives in Dubai, travels around in Ibiza, and you know, that whole scene, I'm not really familiar with it, but I do like to see people that kind of, you know, live in that kind of Ibiza scene, tech house, EDM, EDM, whatever else it may be. And he does some really cool IRL streams, in real life streams, where he kind of goes around places in Dubai, or no, mostly in Ibiza, not Dubai, where he just chats up girls. Right, it's kind of fun, nightlife shit, running around, causing a ruckus, sometimes getting into fights, arguments, chucked out clubs, this, that. It's a laugh. But it's also a really different type of guy that I don't see day to day. I don't really hang around with, but I grew up with him in school. That type of a personality of kid, so I kind of recognize the personality and that kind of way of speaking and carrying oneself. So I'm a fan. But lately he's been off the rails a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. And one of the really weird things that he did back in the day when he was here in the UK for a bit, he leased a McLaren. You know, the McLaren that all the kids like. I don't know what model it is because I'm not really cool with car models, but there's a particular McLaren that all this live streamers love to fucking drive around, love to buy, love to fucking lease and hire. And he got one while he was in London, or while he was in the UK for a bit. And he was driving it, and obviously most of these kids, I don't know why it is as well, but these kids don't seem to be able to drive supercars. I don't know what it is about these kids that like supercars but can't drive them. So he tried to drive it. He obviously put too much, maybe, you know, gas on the pedal, whatever. It went fucking super fast. I think it crashed into a lamppost or a car or something. And obviously those cars, those McLarens, I think they're made out of fiberglass or really thin aluminium. So when you smash into something, the whole front is gone. And there was a complete write-off. But really weirdly, he was with this guy, I think, called General G. Big up General G. Big up Kate Barker, actually. Or Kate Baker, no, Barker. Big up Kate Baker. Because if I'm not mistaken, or Kate Baker, she interviewed him back in the day. So that's how I know who General G is. And they got into a car crash and he got injured. He was quite in a bad way. And if I'm not mistaken, HSTikkyTokky just left. He just ran off. Went to Dubai, never came back for like a year plus. And I never understood why he did that. Like, surely you're going to be in trouble for that. And surely if you just stay and deal with it, it would be a much better thing to do than to run away. But he ran away, or he was on the quote-unquote run, living in Dubai, streaming every day in Dubai, streaming every day in Ibiza, having a blast. And then whilst he was out there, he was also mocking the situation. He did a couple of skits, mocking how General G was. He did a couple parody, satire sort of things, taking the piss out of the whole situation, talking about how the Matrix was coming after him, you know, kind of echoing what Andrew Tate said or has said in the past. And I didn't really make anything, you know, I didn't really understand why he was going at that angle, but I completely forgot about it and put it back in my head because, you know, it didn't feel like nothing happened. So I guess the police have had a warrant, the UK police. I don't know why we don't hear about them. I wonder if that's on purpose. We don't really hear about warrants. I feel like in the US you do. In the US you're made aware there's a warrant out for your arrest. So I feel like in the UK they kind of keep that close to their chest. But I guess ever since that crash there's been a warrant out for HSTikkyTokky's arrest. Maybe he knows though, to be fair. Maybe he knows. That's why he's also been going super hard these last 18 months. Maybe he knew, which is why he could stack up the money. But in general, we didn't know as viewers, but I guess he came back to the UK recently, and on his arrival to the UK, he was arrested. And from what I heard recently on the news, he's been denied bail also. So he's legitimately sitting in prison right now, awaiting his trial. Or his day in court, I guess, right? To hear the charges and shit. And then that's when maybe he might get bail. But luckily for him, the trial's coming up soon. I think in a couple of weeks. But he's just in prison, in the UK prison right now. Fucking crazy situation. So let's go to the Daily Mail. It says HSTikkyTokky 24 is arrested in the UK after failing to appear in court for dangerous driving. By the way, he's 24, you know. These younger Generation Z kids, they don't look their age, innit? He looks way older than 24. He actually acts older too. Maybe because I think he's a single child, you know, maybe that whole thing, looking after your family. I'm not too sure, parents. But yeah, he carries himself like a way older person than fucking 24. It says, a TikTok star who's been at the center of a year-long manhunt after skipping a court hearing has been arrested. HSTikkyTokky, whose real name is Harrison Sullivan, 24, was detained in the UK on Friday after failing to appear at the Guildford Magistrates Court in November of last year. He was due to face a string of driving offences, including failing to stop after crashing his £230,000 McLaren. By the way, from what I heard, that McLaren wasn't his. I watched some video from Festify. Big up Festify. I had no idea it wasn't his, but it wasn't his. A Surrey police spokesperson confirmed a 24-year-old man from Hutton in Essex was arrested on Friday. He appeared in the Guildford Magistrates Court on Saturday, 11th of October, and has been remanded ahead of a further court appearance in Stange Magistrates Court on Tuesday, 14th of October. Sullivan's arrest brings an end to a months-long search after police issued a warrant when he failed to attend to his hearing late last year. That's an old mugshot of his there. That's a newer picture of him in a Beeford living life, knowing full well that he's got that warrant out for him. The influencer who boasts millions of followers under his name, HSTikkyTokky persona, has previously drawn criticism from the UK shortly after the alleged incident. He was accused of crashing his £230,000 McLaren 720S in Virginia Water, Surrey, and leaving his friend and fellow influencer General G injured. Dramatic photos from the time showed the purple supercar capable of reaching 60 miles per hour in 2.8 seconds completely destroyed. Following the crash, Surrey police confirmed an arrest warrant had been issued for Sullivan, saying he was believed to have fled the country. Oh, okay, cool. So they did issue it and it was made public. People just forgot, I guess, because it's been a year or so. However, TikTok stars continued to post online, taunting police and causing fans and confusing fans about his whereabouts. So, couldn't the UK police have extradited him? Or the country that he's in, maybe the countries he was in had a non-extradite treaty, or maybe the offense wasn't enough to warrant them going out to get him. But I'm surprised they just let him like gallivant around the whole time. But I guess they knew he'd eventually come back, right? I guess maybe they knew because he doesn't have residency in those countries. He has one of those visas where you have to kind of come, because that's what people do, right? There's that visa, you can have residency in these countries, or you can do that thing where you stay for 30 to 60 days in the country and then you come back, and then, you know, for a prolonged period of time, they go back another 60 days. So maybe that's what happened. However, the TikTok star continued to post online. He claimed on TikTok that he had flown back to Britain, posting a video wearing a pink t-shirt with palm trees in the background and repeating 5 times in Brentwood in Essex. He later shared a mugshot of himself on X, writing, "I'll turn myself in tomorrow morning, hold tight, yeah." In another post, he added, "I'm currently residing in Bristol, postcode. Not too sure why you're looking for me though. I've never driven a car in my life, so I cannot even know what crime it is." Yeah, so that's the car, by the way. That's what he crashed. Absolutely. And again, this is a rental. This is a rental, bro. Look at it. It's absolutely destroyed. It looks beautiful still, to be honest, weirdly enough. That's how you know a car's been designed well, when even though the front is completely obliterated, it still looks fucking great. It's purple, black rims. But again, this seems to happen so often. All these young kids love these supercars but can't drive them. They can't handle the power. Or maybe just not good drivers overall. I feel like maybe because I don't drive, I'm saying this, but I feel like there's not a lot of good drivers out there nowadays. I feel like the driving skills or the standards of driving now are an all-time low. People are shit drivers out there. Shit drivers. But I could be wrong. He later said, but hours later, Sullivan appeared in another foul-mouthed rant filmed inside a Dubai shopping centre where he signs for Jumeirah Golf Estates and is an Essence healing spa, but seen in the background. In the video, he fumed, "Boys, I've done a lot of joking around today, but I'm actually want to be serious. Why is this happening in the UK? Why are people actually disgusting wrong individuals just being let off the hook? Why are the borders open for anyone to come in and ruin the UK? To ruin what's really about, to ruin what's it really about? The police serve the country. The police serve the country properly. Go after the people who deserve to be effing put in prison for the rest of their lives. People that are ruining society, not me. What the F? Sullivan, who's boasted online about earning $20 million a year from trading, claimed he built a lavish lifestyle in Dubai with 2 private jets and a property empire said to include apartments for his family. So yeah, man, it's looking kind of peaky for HSTikkyTokky. And then the update, of course, is this courtesy of the BBC that says HSTikkyTokky star denied bail. Denied bail. So he's going to be sitting in that prison until the date he has to appear in court. So it says TikTok influencer HSTikkyTokky denied bail. The 24-year-old, whose real name is Harrison Sullivan, was wanted by police for a car crash at Virginia Water in March 2024. He failed to attend court in November and later posted on social media videos from Qatar. Ms. Sullivan had been due to appear in court on Tuesday, but the case was adjourned until the 24th. He was ordered to remain in custody until then, of course. So they denied his bail because he ran away before. You know, like, so they couldn't take no chances. The influencer who had been due to appear in documentary Louis Theroux is facing charges of failing to stop after an accident, driving while using a mobile phone and driving without third-party insurance. It comes after a crash involving a purple McLaren and a black Audi. Oh, so and I think people got injured, right? Previously, okay, cool. If I'm not, so he crashed into an Audi. An appeal has been launched by the police after the driver of the McLaren supercar involved in the crash left the scene. Okay, cool. So that's actually I've read online, that's actually a serious crime in the UK. Again, I don't drive, so I don't know these things. But allegedly, if you leave the scene of an accident that you've been involved in as a driver, it's a really bad thing. Like, it can get you in a lot of trouble. You can actually go to prison for it. So it's looking kind of shaky for him. Looking kind of shaky. But weirdly enough, it might be a good thing, because I do remember when I was watching one of his streams, he was talking about how he kind of let himself go. He was in Ibiza having a blast, drinking all the time, doing a bunch of gear on fucking stream, by the way, which is fucking incredible. But he did say that he was getting a little bit too on it, a little bit too loosey-goosey. So maybe this might be a good thing for him to kind of chill in prison for a bit, await his trial, await his day in court, and kind of go from there. That might actually be a good thing for him. But I'm also curious to know, because it feels like this is not the end, you know? This is not the end. It feels like there's going to be more. I don't know why. There's too much like bad stuff around him at the moment. That Louis Theroux documentary, when that comes out, that's going to really elevate his kind of brand or his celebrity. But it's also going to make people hate him a lot, because I've seen some of the quote unquote behind the scenes footage when HSTikkyTokky was streaming the whole entire time. Louis Theroux was filming this fucking TV show. It was really funny. And the producers kept telling him to turn it off and he wouldn't turn it off. So I think people are not going to like the version of, you know, him that's on that fucking thing. There's no way is Louis Theroux and his editing team going to try and make him look good. They're going to try definitely make him look bad. And I watch a lot of his streams online when he goes to Ibiza to try and pick up girls. And I'm not going to lie, man. He comes across like a bit of a cunt in those pictures, in those clips. He comes across like a bit of a cunt. He treats women not the greatest. He says some wild shit to them. So, you know, it feels like there is something happening. I don't know. It feels like there's something brewing in the background with that sort of stuff. You'd hope he's not that dumb, right? He's already treating them badly on camera. You'd hope he's not going as far as, like, you know, doing anything more. But it's just, I don't know. I feel like there's a hate train, but it's definitely a shift in terms of how people look at him and view him. So I think for sure, this is probably only going to get worse. Unfortunately for him, this is probably only going to get worse. Really fucking is. But yeah, let's see what happens as it plays out. Let's see what happens as it plays out. Big up Sam Altman. This is scary. This is fucking scary. Sam Altman, one of the founders of ChatGPT, you know the name, OpenAI shit, you know the name, has announced an update coming to ChatGPT soon. And this is very scary. Very scary, very worrisome, but in a weird way, it kind of also gives me a boner. Not gonna lie. I know that's TMI, but that's the truth. Sam Altman says the following. We made ChatGPT, you know, the founder of OpenAI, so I'm not Chat, yeah, but you know, blah, blah, blah. We made ChatGPT pretty restrictive to make sure that we can be careful with mental health issues. We realized this made it less useful and enjoyable to many users who had no mental health problems. But given the seriousness of the issues, we wanted to get it right. Now that we have been able to mitigate the serious mental health issues and have new tools, we are going to be able to safely relax restrictions in most cases. In a few weeks, we plan to put out a new version of ChatGPT that allows people. By the way, I've just purchased ChatGPT monthly subscription, 20 quid a month, because I use it so often. But I've just purchased it because of how important it is in my day-to-day life. So it's actually kind of crazy, to be fair, how often I use that shit. If you want your ChatGPT to respond in a very human-like way, or use a ton of emoji, or act like a friend, Jesus, this is bleak. ChatGPT should do it, but only if you want it, not because we are usage maxing. So there'd be a setting, I guess, on there if you want it to be a more personable. You know what this kind of reminds me of? There is a subreddit. I wish I remember the name. I think it might be like AI boyfriend or something, AI husband. There's a subreddit now. If you want to check it out, maybe if I find a link, I'll put it in the descriptions. But that subreddit, man, that fucking subreddit, AI husbands or something, is so depressingly. It's so fascinatingly depressive, or depressingly fascinating. Regardless, it's depressing and fascinating because all it has is like a bunch of women on there who decide to marry their AI husbands or boyfriends. They have ceremonies, they buy themselves rings, they talk about how much better it is to have an AI boyfriend or husband as opposed to an IRL one. You know, they have conversations and dates and shit. It's wild. It is so bizarre, but it's also very popular. A lot of people use it. They post questions and shit. So clearly there's a need for it. As much as I think it's weird and odd behavior, there's clearly a need for it, and people do want to go that direction. So I guess, you know, give the people what they want. It continues. This is the really scary part. In December, as we roll out age gating more fully, and as part of our treat adults users like adults principle, we will allow even more like erotica for verified adults. Hear that again. In December, as we roll out age gating more fully, and as part of our treat adults like adults principle, we will allow even more like erotica for verified adults. Erotica. Erotica basically means porn. It basically means porn. There's gonna be an option on ChatGPT where you can have an erotic, an intimate relationship with your AI bot, servant, companion, whatever it is. If that's the case and they put that out, do not be surprised if they start to figure out a way to connect your fucking AR goggles, your Oculuses, your fucking Apple Vision Pros, whatever it is, right? Don't be surprised, or fucking the Google glasses. Don't be surprised, the Meta glasses. Don't be surprised if they find a way to connect all that shit and connect one of those Glock. You see those Glock? Because I was thinking myself, you know what? Has somebody done this before? I'm sure someone's done this. But you know those machines people advertise? You see them advertised randomly some places. Those Glock machines, right? The ones that you kind of like, it's sort of like a fleshlight, right? And people sell them. It's like a fleshlight, but it has like a stand you can put your phone in, and it's sort of like this machine thing that you're meant to use. Imagine somebody was able to hook up that machine with your AR goggles and shit, and you know, with running ChatGPT erotica mode. People are gonna be smashing their AI bots on the daily. People are gonna be like clapping like celebrities off the back of this, you know, reimagining a celebrity that they fancy and put. It's gonna get spooky. It's gonna be like 10 times more weirder and wilder than fucking Her, the movie. Legendary movie, by the way. We got Joaquin Phoenix. But honestly, this is wild, bro. And even the term, even the wording erotica, you know it's gonna be sleazy, because erotica makes me think of like, I don't know, 80s porn or something with the bushes and shit and the weird music, and the shag rugs and the shag rugs and the massive couches with the all. I mean, that's what I think of when I think of erotica. I think of that era. I think of those magazines with the woman just standing there with topless with their massive boobs just staring at you. Like, you know what I mean? That's what I think of when I think of it. But when I think of erotica, I think of porn. You know, that's straight up porn. Or maybe like erotic novels, right? Like, what, you know, those kind of novels that a lot of like single women like to fucking read that are really horny and shit. That's what I feel like this is gonna be. It's gonna be crazy, bro. It's gonna be crazy. people are gonna be clapping their AI cheeks. They're gonna be clapping AI cheeks on the daily. Guys will be at work quickly nipping off to the bathroom. Bah, 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 bah. Erotica time, erotica mode. Honestly, I feel like people are gonna go crazy with this feature. They're gonna go so crazy. They're gonna be all over the place, just smashing during work time. I mean, covered in fucking man juice and shit, trying to get back to work, trying to like calm themselves down, fan themselves down from all the erotica they've been fucking indulging in. They've been going crazy on. It's gonna be fucking wild, honestly. It's gonna be wild. But the sad thing about this is that, you know, OpenAI, ChatGPT wasted a lot of money, you know, with Sora and all those terrible videos that are being generated on Sora too. And now with this erotica porn mode on fucking ChatGPT. But still, no trying to, I don't know, cure blindness, AIDS, cancer, disability, you know, whatever. People, you know, motor neuron disease or disabilities and shit. That's what maybe AI should be used for. But instead we're using it to make like shitty AI videos, right? And to kind of spam our feeds with all that fucking schlop. Or they're using AI as a weird way to get guys to goon more. You know, gooning the gooning levels weren't high enough. We need more gooners out there. So, and also don't be surprised if ChatGPT like links up with fucking OnlyFans collaboration, you know, on activating this fucking new erotica feature. You know, it's so fucking scary. It's so dystopian. It's so all over the place, but I love it. I can also imagine like party collectives getting a hold of this, like kink party collectives getting a hold of this and trying to work it within the stuff that they're already doing. Like, it's gonna get crazy. It's gonna get fucking crazy. You know, I'd like to see more developments and advancements outside of stuff like this, but it's just gonna get crazy. And I'm just hoping, you know, the fan doesn't end up being some the founders end up being some like crook or something. But yeah, it's gonna be crazy. Erotica ChatGPT coming soon, by the way, no pun intended, coming very soon to a place near you. Very, very fucking soon. Talking about coming, thoughts and feelings go out to Jadon Sancho, man. A once Man United player, once Man City, Borussia Dortmund, Chelsea player, now currently on loan at Aston Villa, and not really pulling up that many trees. Jadon Sancho has been involved in one of the most embarrassing scandals I've ever seen in my life. It's so heartbreaking because it's proof that he doesn't take his football seriously, and it's proof that all the rumors that we heard about Jadon Sancho off the field were completely true. Why do I say this? Because a few days ago, this woman called MaybachMayy exposed Jadon Sancho for his relationship he's having with Sweetie at the time. And at the time, as she exposed Jadon Sancho, in a way, she was mostly going at Sweetie because she felt like Sweetie didn't give her the money. And why do I say she thought Sweetie needed some money from her? Or she thought she needed some money from Sweetie? Because according to the internet, according to what's been said and pieced stuff together, it seems that this MaybachMayy lady is a madame, aka a pimp. And I guess her job is to connect IG baddies with like rich influential people, maybe especially in Europe and traveling wise. It feels like she travels a lot more in around these sites. So I feel like that's probably her role, because a lot of these European footballer guys, although they're verified, have a lot of followers and money, I'm guessing because of the, you know, amount of guys, the amount of hot girls in America, they probably don't have time, and it's lazy as well. They probably don't have time to fly over. But I'd imagine, you know, if they wanted to, there's probably be a receptive audience to a lot of these IG baddies because I think a lot of those English guys probably struggle to get attention of those girls. Anyway, long story less long, that MaybachMayy lady connects the hot girls with people in Europe mostly. It seemed like she was baiting out or hotting up or exposing Sweetie for not paying her. And then, unfortunately, Jadon Sancho was collateral damage because he got, you know, exposed for being a client at first. They might have fell in love later, but, you know, Sweetie's text message clearly shows that she wasn't looking at Jadon Sancho, a boyfriend. That was definitely going to be a client, a mark, and, you know, it turned out the way it turned out. But now, some new screenshots have come out from MaybachMayy where it seems like Jadon Sancho also owes her money. So I'm not too sure how her system works. Is it a system where she has girls on her roster that she kind of pimps out, but then those girls are meant to what? Get money from their client. Like, hey, can you give me 10 grand? or is the girl themselves meant to like siphon her off a couple bands, a couple, you know, just to kind of keep her sweet? I don't know how it works out, but either way, the woman's not happy. She wants her money. And in these screenshots taken from Instagram stories, she directly goes at Jadon Sancho, which is really heartbreaking because it shows that he was complicit. He was aware that Sweetie was an escort. That's why she got taken or brought to fucking Chelsea in the first place. So he can't even do the whole like, oh yeah, she was with me. Nah, you knew all along. We tried to kind of spin it another way. So let's go. The screenshot says, at Sancho, you don't get to kick a ball in peace while owing me money. She's talking to you directly. And still out here tricking. It's all your fault, messy little fairy. She called him a fairy, bro. This random girl called him her fairy. Like, allow it, man. Jadon Sancho's going out mad sad. Jadon Sancho's going out mad sad. It's fucking heartbreaking to see him in this position. A guy of his talent shouldn't be getting extorted, getting shamed, getting dunked on this way in public. Like, this shouldn't be happening to him. It really shouldn't, but it is. The next screenshot is the worst one. The next screenshot is the one that really broke my heart. This broke my heart. This lady, MaybachMayy, takes a screenshot of a text message that she's having with Jadon Sancho. As you can see from the contact listing, it says his name right there, Sancho. So she posts a screenshot of this conversation that she had with Sancho, and this is the one that really, really broke my heart. Because in the conversation, you can clearly tell that Sancho knows that this woman's a boss. Because you can't really see what she said there, but her caption says, what he said to her, hello, May. Sorry disturb you. He's so nervous. He's so scared. He couldn't even write properly and say sorry to disturb you. He said sorry disturb you. And he said hello, not even hey, hi. He wrote Hello. That woman runs a tight ship and Sancho is scared. So he continued. He said, I've been trying to get hold of Diamante, which is Sweetie's real name. And it says today, and I've had no luck. We got into it yesterday at dinner, was trying to figure out if you've heard from her at all today. So he basically said that him and Sweetie got into an argument over dinner and he hasn't heard from her since. And he was contacting her for help. And he wrote this big blurb, right? And you can always tell the power dynamic in a group, in a person, based on how big their bubble of text is vis-a-vis the person they're talking to. So Sancho's got like, what, 6 lines here, big blob. She writes back 2 lines. I haven't talked to her today. I did last night, ... And another line. You know, real power play of like, no, I'm in charge here. So that was one of the ones that fucking broke my heart. But the thing that broke my heart the worst was her caption. She tagged Sancho again. At Sancho, this is my last time asking about what you owe me. And you know it, I have facts. All of them balloons you inhale got you running slow as fuck. This is a girl that I would assume doesn't know much about football. Yet she knows that Jadon Sancho is slow. She knows Jadon Sancho does have a burst of pace. Wow, man. Wow. And she's also aware of the rumor or the suggestion that Sancho is a bit of a balloon addict. Allegedly, he's a bit of a nos addict, a nos freak. You know? That explains so much. It really does, about his current situation where this random IG bot has way more information about his personal life than maybe his people in his family. It's just heartbreaking. It's just heartbreaking. And it just makes me think of like people like Sancho at that level who have all that talent but legitimately would rather, you know, not do nothing with it and not hit the great heights that their talent can give them. And instead they want to play these escort games, you know? And it's okay if you want to play escort games. Use your money how you want to use your money. But then pay the people, innit? I really don't understand that person who goes to strip clubs to steal money, who hires prostitutes but doesn't pay. I don't get that mindset. Because those people that work in that line of work, they're about their money. They don't play. Like that whole seedy underworld of like loan sharks and bouncers and dealers. You know what I mean? They don't play about their money. So if they want their money, they want their money. Like, give it to them. Now, don't get me wrong. Sancho could be playing a bit of 3D chess here because he knows that she's involved in some illicit activities, she can never take him to the police. She can never, snitch on him that way. The only way she can get her money is to either ask for it nicely and wait, or to publicly shame him like the way she's doing and eventually get the money. The same way how that one guy who was owed money by Dele Alli, right? I forgot his name. I think he's a rapper or somebody. I saw it on the timeline. And he only got his money because he shamed Dele Alli. He got on stream and said, yep, Dele Alli, the former Tottenham player, owes me $5 grand. Hope he sees this because he keeps sending my messages. And then I think the next day he got his money. So public shaming does work, unfortunately. So maybe that's the way she gets back her money, but I just can't understand why Sancho himself let himself get in this position. Especially, again, given his talent. We've seen what Rashford is doing. Look what Rashford's doing in fucking Barcelona. Rashford's killing it in Barcelona. He's got a new lease of life. He's enjoying his football again. He looks bright. He looks strong. He looks, you know what I mean? He's going for it. And even Tuchel said today, or earlier, that he feels like Marcus Rashford's ceiling is super high. He can do anything he wants to if he kind of really goes for it. And I think he gave him a warning of like, don't waste your career. Like really go for it, because tomorrow you turn and suddenly you're 50 or 40. You know what I mean? It can kind of change really quickly. So I really do hope that happens with Sancho and he has a moment of realization. A come to this moment where he tried to take his career seriously, because there are so many heights he needs to hit that he hasn't hit before yet. But because of his persona and how he acts and his lack of care and bother, it's just wild anyway. Because I remember a time when we were all in school and we would give anything to be a footballer. Back in there, we used to play football together. We'd legitimately give anything. We'd all be talking about trials and what we'd do here and do there. Honestly, like, it's so fucking sad to see how it all turned out. But what can you do? What can you do? Hold your head up, Jadon Sancho. Hold your head up, Jadon Sancho. Anyway, people, this has been the Agostinho Zinga Show, episode number 759. 759. For those of you who've been watching the show via the live stream, make sure before you leave that you hit subscribe and smash the like button down below. That will be greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. For those of you who are watching the show vis-a-vis listen to the show vis-a-vis the audio platform of this molecular thing, the audio platform, then do not worry about liking. Just sit down and relax. I don't know, click the description down below, click the links around. See if you want to see anything about myself. Obviously, leave me a 5-star review. Be definitely well appreciated. But for those of you listening and watching, I'm going to do something I don't usually do. And I'm going to play my song of the day. My song of the day before I leave you guys will be from D'Angleo, of course. D'Angleo, of course. That will be the fucking single I'll be playing from Brown Sugar. The extended version or the deluxe version. I'm going to be playing a remix of a track. Again, I shouldn't be playing a remix. I should be playing his own song. But, let's mix things up a little bit. RIP to D'Angleo. This is a remix from the deluxe album of Brown Sugar, of the song Brown Sugar. And the remix is by Soul Inside AOX Remix. It's one of my favorite tracks of D'Angelo's of all time. Really, really, I'm a big fan of his. And it's a fucking horrible loss. But his legacy will live on way past his mortal plane. Vis-a-vis the basis of this great album. So let's listen to this song of the day, courtesy of D'Angleo. Thank you for everybody for tuning in. I love and appreciate you. The rest of you I'll see you on the random show in a few minutes.
Let me tell you about this girl, maybe I should. I met her in Philly, and her name was Brown Sugar. See, we be making love constantly, that's why my eyes are a shade blood burning. The way that we kiss isn't like any other way that I be kissing when I'm kissing what I'm missing, won't you listen? Brown sugar, babe, I guess high off your love, I don't know how to sum it up. Brown sugar, I want some of your brown sugar. I want some of your brown sugar. I want some of your brown sugar. Oh, sugar, when you're close to me, you love me right down to my knees. And whenever you let me hit it, Sweet like honey when it comes to me. Skin is caramel with the cocoa eyes. Even got a big sister by the name of Chocolate. Brown sugar, babe. I guess high off of love, don't know how to behave. Brown sugar. I want some of your brown sugar. I want some of your brown sugar. I want some of your brown sugar. Story goes, brown sugar got me open. Now I want some more. Always down for all my nonchalant, but I think I'm here to solo. Hold my niggas don't mind. Stick out my tongue and I'm about ready to hit this pretty bitty with persistence. Yo, I don't think y'all hit. Brown sugar, babe. I guess high off of love, don't know how to behave. Brown sugar. I want some of your brown sugar. Some of your brown sugar.